So I've just picked, I would say, a good 2 handfuls of the nasturtium seeds. I think that's probably about half a cup. So I just put them in water because that helps get rid of the blooms and anything else, and I'll rinse those off. And I will lacto ferment them for about 2 weeks. This one is actually just done right now. It's been 2 weeks in like an hour or two. So what you have to do in order to do that is you take 1.5 tablespoons of salt and 2 cups of water, and you make a brine out of that, put it inside of a jar that it'll fit in, and you throw the rinsed off nasturtiums in there for about 3 days, cover the lid, and leave that, somewhere indoors, but not in the fridge. And then after 3 days, you throw it in the fridge for the rest of the 2 weeks. So I am going to try out for the first time a nasturtium keeper. All right, grabbed one. It's an interesting smell inside of that jar. I'm gonna pop it in my mouth. See. Okay. Crunchy. Definitely still has that peppery taste to it. Um, I think it could be good if you want to add a little bit of a peppery, pickly type of thing. So I'm gonna try it in a couple of recipes. I noticed some that use capers and dill, and I'm gonna throw it in those, and I will see how I feel about that. Alright, I've pulled the ingredients together for a dill and caper tuna salad. Pretty self-explanatory. Mayo, lemon juice, a little bit of mustard. Here's what I usually put in is some celery for crunch, and then I've got the nasturtium capers for crunch and for a little bit of peppery flavor. They're not as sour as I was expecting them to be, but I've never done a salt brine before without vinegar, so they have a sour aftertaste. I actually left them a few days longer than the minimum to get a little bit more of that sour taste, but it's definitely more of an aftertaste. Here's my fresh dill and of course the tuna, and I'm gonna basically be checking which of these I like more inside of the tuna and what they add to it. Alright, so now I've made it. I've actually been eating it as I've made it, just to make sure all the flavors are compatible and everything. I tried pieces with the celery and with the nasturtium pods, and they were both good. The nasturtium capers, they're on their own, they have a very pungent flavor, but when you throw them in the dish, the tuna is basically the main ingredient here, so it's a nice addition. I felt like they were crunchy just like the celery, but the celery tasted a bit more watery, and the capers, since they had been brined and lacto fermented, they have more of a depth of flavor, but it's not overpowering in any way. You kind of barely notice it's there. So I'd definitely be willing to make this again. And in fact, I'm probably going to add more nasturtium capers to this recipe right here, because I started out super small because I was worried it smelled a bit funny. But no, it's they apparently have really good nutritional value, so I'll definitely use them because, celery's good for crunch, but it doesn't have as much nutritional value. Next up, I'm going to make a parsley and basil pesto with maybe 2 tablespoons of nasturtium capers and the usual suspects: some parm, some lemon juice, some pine nuts, and some olive oil. Alright, it's made, and I've been eating it as I've gone along. I would say that the nasturtium seeds kind of add a depth of flavor to this. I don't notice them too much outside of the other components. So yeah, if you eat them plain once they've been brined, like they're kind of intense, but yeah, they're not overpowering. I can taste most of the other flavors honestly before I taste them. Um, so I think this is a win. By the way, never ever ever eat the nasturtium seeds before they've been brined. I tried that just because one had accidentally fallen off, and I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. It was that bad. I started like hacking up a lung, so definitely don't ever do that. But otherwise, yeah, brining them worked great, I think.